All right, I think it's time that I lock in my picks. Who do I think is going to win in each category for the Oscars on Sunday? If you want to lock in your picks, compete against me, compete against everyone else on the site, you can do that at bigmovieboys.com. Go to the award show pick'em, go to the Academy Awards, and submit your picks. The results will be updated live on Sunday as they're being called. I will be live reacting to the show on Twitch and updating these picks, or updating these winners as they come along. And that should update the leaderboard as well, so you can see how you do against your fellow Big Movie Boys. So I've already got my picks made. We're just going to go through, see if there's any I want to change. We've had a lot of other award shows happen in the last few weeks since I have made these picks. So we'll see if that influences me to change anything that I've had here previously. First category, actor in a leading role. I think Adrien Brody's a pretty safe pick here. I haven't looked to see if there's like odds out there yet for any of these categories. I'm sure there are. I'm not going to look at those just yet. Not going to let those influence my pick. But as someone who has their finger on the pulse, I do think Adrien Brody is the safest pick here. Probably the easiest lock of the night, actor in a supporting role. Now, I personally think this is a difficult category. I have not seen The Apprentice, so I can't comment on Jeremy Strong's performance in that film in particular. But having seen the other four, for me personally, it's a much closer race than what it is in reality. And what it is in reality is Kieran Culkin is taking this one. So that's just free money if you want that one. Actress in a leading role. Now, right now I have Mikey Madison, but I do think that's kind of wish casting at this point. This one I think is pretty up in the air. Demi Moore has made herself more of a favorite than I think a lot of people expected going into award season. Not for any, not based on her performance, but more so because The Substance isn't the kind of movie you expect to win a lot of awards. I personally think that bias might still exist with the Oscars. So I think it might be Fernanda Torres. I think I might be changing this pick if I'm trying to lock in who I think is going to win. I'm kind of split. I think best guess is who is going to win is either Demi Moore or Fernanda Torres. Who do I want to win? Mikey Madison. Who would be the funniest winner? Carla Sofia Gascon. Apologies to Cynthia. I don't think you're in the mix here. So I'm gonna move it over to Fernanda Torres, but this is definitely a tough one to nail down. Actress in a supporting role. It does feel like, Emilia Perez is going to win some awards. I think that is inevitable. This feels like one that could very easily go to Zoe Saldana. I do think Monica Barbaro, she got something maybe at the SAG Awards. So if I was kind of picking who I would vote for, I'd probably lean towards her. I think in some of the anonymous ballots, we saw some Isabella Rossellini votes, which I get, but she has a pretty small role in that movie. So I would find it difficult to give it to her. for that reason, but I think I'm going to keep this one with Zoe Saldana. To me, that feels like it's going to happen. Animated feature. I have not yet seen Flow. I'm going to try to watch Flow before the show on Sunday. I've seen Inside Out 2, The Wild Robot, and Wallace and Gromit. Of those three, I liked The Wild Robot a lot. That was pretty high on my list for the year. But I hear very good things about Flow. So after watching it, maybe I will be more confident in this pick, but for now I'm leaning towards Flow. We've got animated short, much like the Academy. I have not seen any of these. I think I just looked up like ratings for these. Some of them didn't even have ratings. I don't know. This one's a crapshoot. I've got Wander to Wonder. Cinematography. This one, if it was just me voting, would be pretty tough. I do think Dune Part 2 is deserving. I think Nosferatu is deserving. I think The Brutalist is deserving. I have not seen Maria, and I would not give it to Emilia Perez. I think in toss-ups like this, I'm probably going to lean towards The Brutalist. That feels like a pretty safe pick in most categories. Costume design. Could go a couple ways on this one. I'm not super confident in this, but Wicked being kind of that old school, big budget musical, I feel pretty good throwing one of these to Wicked. I don't know that, although Wicked has a decent amount of nominations, I don't see it winning too many things. This is one that I could see it walking away with. For directing, there's some notable snubs here, which makes it easier to go with Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. I think it's really between that and Sean Baker for Anora, but I think the way the Academy tends to vote, I think I'm feeling pretty good about Brady Corbet for this one. Documentary feature films. I have not seen any of these. I would like to see No Other Land, but it famously does not have American distribution right now. I do still think it's going to win. I hope it wins. There were some jokes going around on Twitter when Gal Gadot was named as one of the presenters. They were hoping that she would be presenting for a feature documentary, which would be pretty funny, assuming No Other Land does win, but it definitely seems to be the favorite. So I'm pulling for that one. Hopefully that'll be a nice acceptance speech as well. Probably the only mention of Palestine that we would get in the show. Documentary short film. I have not seen any of these. I don't remember how I picked this one. But right now I have Incident. This one's got a New York Times logo on it. Maybe I picked this one instead. I don't know. I don't remember how I landed on Incident before, but I'll just leave it, I guess. Film editing. This one's a tricky category because my safe pick is either Conclave or The Brutalist, and both of those are nominated here. I can't see this one going to Emilia Perez or Wicked. And so I have Conclave. I'm tempted to switch over to The Brutalist. I'm going to switch over to The Brutalist. When it comes to some of these categories, I think when you're trying to determine who the Academy is going to vote for, you got to think back and go like, which one had more editing? And which one did the editing maybe stand out a little bit more? And I don't know that there's a huge difference here, but I do think just even like getting in the mind of a Academy voter, thinking of like the opening credit scene, or even like having an intermission, that feels like things that like Academy voters would go like, oh, that's like editing. That was like unique and different editing, so that's my justification for switching my vote there. We'll see how it plays out. International feature, my personal vote, and the one that I think will probably win is I'm Still Here. Most years there's one international feature film that's nominated for Best Picture as well, and so that's usually how you can figure that out. This year, admittedly, is a bit different because Emilia Perez is also nominated for Best Picture somehow. And then Flow is nominated for Best Animated, and I think has a pretty good shot of winning that. Now, I haven't seen Flow yet, as I said, but I'm Still Here is a very, very good movie. And I have not seen The Girl with the Needle or The Seed of the Sacred Fig, so those could also be very good movies. I just haven't heard as much about them, nor have I seen them personally. So with the information I've got, I'm locking in I'm Still Here. Makeup and hairstyling. This is another one that I could be tempted to give to Wicked. I could be tempted to give to Nosferatu. But I think because the substance is kind of about beauty and vanity and has a focus on those things and has a focus on the makeup, and there's some practical effects and practical makeup stuff near the end that I think it's too integral to the movie, that I think that will persuade voters to pick it for this category. Alright, music original score. Whoever's presenting this award should just throw the envelope away and say Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross for challengers. How it's not nominated is beyond me. Right now I have The Wild Robot because that's probably my personal pick. I liked the score for that a lot. I am not super confident that that's how the Academy is going to vote, though. I could honestly see any of these going with Wicked or Emilia Perez because they're musicals. So it's like, oh yeah, let's give the original score to a musical movie. But I could also see Conclave and The Brutalist, because those are, again, my safety picks when I don't know who to pick. Man, this one's tough. I think I might switch this one to Conclave. Not because I personally would vote for it necessarily. Honestly, I'm thinking because the marketing incorporated the main theme so much. And it is used a lot in the movie as well, so it's not a confident pick, but I'm going with Conclave for this one. Music original score. No, music original song. I mean, it's nominated here twice. I think Emilia Perez might come away with this. If I were gonna switch this, I'd probably go with Sing Sing, which I haven't seen. But it felt like El Mal was winning every other award show. I think this is one where, as much as I don't want it to happen, This is who I think is going to win, and so I'm going to keep this pick here. Production design. Right now I have The Brutalist. I'll probably keep that one since it's a movie kind of about design and architecture. Sometimes it's as simple as that, you know? These aren't, as we've learned, the most educated voters. If I were going to change this one, though, I might go to Wicked. I could also see that pulling some votes. But as it stands for now, I think I'm going to keep The Brutalist. Live action short film. Have not seen these. The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent is the only one that I've heard of outside of this nomination list. So that's why I picked it. Sound. Now I'm tempted to go a complete unknown when it comes to sound. I mean, he's holding a guitar in the poster. That's an instrument that makes sound. That being said, I do think Dune Part 2 might take some of these technical awards. I could see a few votes going to The Wild Robot as well. But I want to believe that Dune is going to walk away with something. And I feel like sound and the next category are probably two of its best bets. The next category being visual effects. We got 2 monkey movies. Technically 3 monkey movies. With Wicked. And, yeah. They are convincing looking monkeys. So it is tempting. But again, I think while it did lack monkeys, Dune Part 2 still is a pretty good shot when it comes to visual effects. Alright, writing adapted screenplay. I am going to change my vote to Nickel Boys, which is partially wish casting. I would not be surprised if Conclave takes this one. But if there's any justice in this world, it'll go to Nickel Boys. And I'd rather be on the right side of history and let it be known that that's who I have locked in. Writing original screenplay. Right now I have Anora. I think this one is probably between Anora, The Brutalist, and A Real Pain. I don't remember exactly how all the other award shows went. I feel like Anora has taken it a few times in the writing category. I know A Real Pain has won at least one, I think, right? I remember seeing Jesse Eisenberg acceptance speech. And I think I'm between those two, honestly. But I'm going to keep Anora. I think Anora has the better shot. And then last but not least, who do I think is going to win Best Picture? I already went through all 10 nominees, gave my personal thoughts on all of them and how I personally rank them. You can check that video out. But when it comes to who do I think is going to win Best Picture, I've got The Brutalist. And I feel pretty confident about that. I think Anora might have the next best shot. And even though I don't think it's really in the conversation anywhere, I'm just saying don't write out Conclave. I do think there's a world where that happens. So there we have it. Those are my picks. They're now locked in. I will be live reacting to the Oscars on Sunday before the show starts. I'll quickly go over my picks again. If there's any last minute adjustments I want to make, I'll do that then. These picks lock at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, March 2nd, right before the show starts. So you have until then if you want to head over to the site and lock in your picks. See if you can do better than me.